Welcome to Beyond Synth. Please note, Beyond Synth is an explicit program and may contain inappropriate language. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
Hey there, welcome to the show. My name is Andy Last. You are listening to Beyond Synth. This is episode 97. That's fucking nuts. Today on the show is Dynatron. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit, but we're going to listen to some music. We're going to take care of some business. I can't believe it's episode 97. You know, Sunglasses Kid posted this thing on Facebook where he was listing his favorite movies starting on his birth year, which I guess for him and I is the same year, I think. And I don't usually take part in those stupid things, you know, on Facebook where they're like, what's your favorite band? And then name 10 bands and pass it along. Like, I don't usually do that stuff, but this one seemed fun to me, so I started making my list. And maybe I'll tease it out over future episodes and we can all see if we agree. Because sometimes there's some movies that are really good, but they're not necessarily in my rotation, so then I don't know how I deal with those ones. You know, like The Thing, for example. John Carpenter's The Thing. Now, it's a great film, the effects are great, but it's not one of the movies that's on my rotation, because I'm not really like a horror film guy. So I like the movie a lot, but I'm like, does it go on my list if it's not a movie I watch that often? And then there's some movies that I don't think are good, but they're in my rotation because I watch them. You know, like some of those might sound like crimes. I've seen Mortal Kombat Annihilation more times than I've seen John Carpenter's The Thing. Do I put Mortal Kombat Annihilation on the list? I mean, it is a terrible film. Maybe one of the worst. So what do I do with it? Because it's there, and I've seen it a bunch of times, and I own it on Blu-ray, so does it go on the list, you know? So that's what I've been pondering, but these are unimportant issues. Did you know that Beyond Synth was brought to you by Down to Jam? Of course you do, because you listen all the time, and you've heard me say it. So go to their website, downtojam.com, DOWNTOJAM.com. It is a social networking site for musicians. If you're looking for a partner to jam with, you go to downtojam.com and you see if there's somebody in your area, and then you jam. And that's all I have to say about that. So let's listen to some music. This is Synthatiger. I've played tracks by them before, and this is a new one from the album Turbo Drive. This is Away from the Galaxy. And that was Away from the Galaxy by Synthatiger off the album Turbo Drive. That is a cool song. All right, let's go to the mail sack real quick.
Ye faithful listeners writing to the show, hoping that your note gets picked from the mail
All right, this was a comment from Nick Autry. I believe that's how you say that. And he was listening to the show and he said, I really loved the episode you did with Droid. That's Droid Bishop. The chemistry there is hilarious, almost like you guys have been friends since childhood. All the comments on nostalgic movies and Nintendo really brought me back. Listening to your show literally makes me feel like I'm sitting around with my friends I grew up with. The discussion is identical. So funny how we all have the same discussions. Your comment about Mario Paint and how everyone would spend the night at a birthday sleepover and animate boobs, etc. I was in tears because that is exactly what we did. I'm 38 with wife and kids and I needed a show like yours. The mix of killer tunes with movie game discussion is a fantastic format. Thanks again. Looking forward to future shows. Well, thanks, dude. I'm glad you enjoy the show. I think that's what a lot of people sort of get out of this because I don't enjoy, the regular interview format, and I have to sort of speed past those sorts of things and get to the fun conversation because that's what I enjoy doing, and I really want this show to feel like sitting and having a beer with these people. It's cool that I talk to people who make cool music or are involved with the synthwave scene in some way, and I just want it to feel that it's like comfortable where you can laugh and just talk about sort of silly things. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy it too. So thank Nick. Thank Nick, everybody. He's a good guy. Let's listen to another track and then we'll do the Patreon and then we'll talk to Dynatron. Because he makes fucking wicked music and you should listen to it. So this is a song by a lady named Rena Hart, and it's kind of more contemporary, but I really liked the vocal. I just thought it was a cool sounding vocal in this track, and that's why I'm going to play it. This is Slow by Rena Hart.
Tunnel vision got you on my mind. I call you up, ring to tell you hi. Conversation's getting kind of dry. You say you'd rather do the talking with no rise. Shooting from the hip and that's alright. Right, you have your own ways and you know I got mine.
And that was Rena Hart with the track Slow. And then in brackets, produced by Excel Beats. Some dude called Excel Beats, I guess. But I like that vocal. I think it's cool, man. Hit her up for some vocals. There's so many cool vocalists out there. And it's always great when they collaborate with synthwave artists. I always like that. And I think if you're a synthwave artist and you're looking for vocalists, I mean, think outside the box. I mean, obviously there's a few vocalists who work primarily with the retro, synth community, but there's other vocalists like folk singers and stuff where you'll find really interesting voices. And hit those people up, man. I think when people enjoy singing, even if it's not necessarily their bag, like the electronic music, it's always nice to find those weird combinations. And I think if you are a synth artist looking for vocalists, try that, man. Like, hit up, singer-songwriter types and country and stuff, you know what I mean? Because I see a ton of those. Like a girl with a guitar. And I think, wow, like, what a great voice. Wouldn't it be cool if, that was on some synth music? Because that's all I give a shit about. You can take your fucking folk bullshit, but you put your voice on there with some keyboards in the background, and I am in. I also don't mind folk music, but you know what I like. You know what I like. Let's go to the Patreon.
Now you better listen up, 'cause I'ma tell you what to do. Do that's good to show up on Patreon, that's for real. Subscribing, you belong up in the higher echelon. Now let's see who gave money on Patreon.
Alright guys, Beyond Synth has a Patreon. If you don't know what that is, that's a way you can support this show. Patreon is like Kickstarter, except you give a monthly donation. You can give as little as $1 a month, and every little bit counts. If you donate more, then there are special perks, rewards, and I think we just reached one of our first goals, which means I have to set a new bar. But remember guys, it's not cause to be too excited, because with Patreon, obviously people drop out, they change their donations, so it's not quite like Kickstarter. Like when someone reaches a Kickstarter goal, that means, hey, we got our 40 grand, we can make our video game. With Patreon, it's an ongoing donation thing, so even though we've hit the first goal, which means I'm now required to do a video portion of Beyond Synth, which I will do, which I'm setting up right now, but I don't want to give too much away. Let's just say I'm starting to work on a set because I want this thing to have a set. And the bottom line is this, even though we reached the first goal, obviously like this month, like 10 people could just decide they don't want to donate to Patreon anymore, and then we're not reaching the goal. Now I'm moving ahead with the video project anyways, but it's always important to know that. So anyways, point is this, let's thank my lovely Pattersons, the people who donate to Patreon. There's Power85, there's Bending Unit 22, Ravonia, Brendan Kellum, Lunar Baboon, Terrence Thompson, Knox Bello, Nathan Winter, Data Suck, Russ Nyes, Seach, Kanaz, The Fear Merchant, Russell Hugo, Argen 1981, Kyle, Python Blue, Eric Valerio, Junk Mail Jeff, Replicant 81, Katner, Girls with Tails, I90RR, Zykorax, Jeff Block, Mitch Wiseman, Tomasz Bubinicek, Chris Schmokel, Common Synths. Here's a new one, Airman. Thanks, Airman, for your donation to Beyond Synth. It means a lot to me when I see new donors on the show, and thanks, dude. Thank you, Airman. Airman. Just like, was there an Airman and Mega Man? Of course there was. I feel like they did all the main ones in the early games, and then by the time it gets like Mega Man 8, it's like Cucumber Man and Shit Man. And then my lovely $5 Pattersons, there's Saloya, Kai, X-Riz Music, Joe and Lando, Devious Raven, John Eternal, Roman, Dougie Fresh, Bobby B, Lame Robot, Florence Bullock, Mono Memory, Simon Norberg, Matthew Lister, New Gat Ninja, Veilingo, Greg Smith, Mike Shima, Night Raptor, Stu M. I've just been informed that Stu M was Killswitch Flickar. But Killswitch Flickar is dead and Stu M rises from the ashes.
Rise from your grave.
There's the Rosconian, Ethan Hennings, Blake Peterson, and my lovely donation of the beast, Lucas Ceballos and Hellroy. And then my lovely $10 Pattersons. There's Jacob Wick, Polly Digital, Nathaniel Rivera, Will Lowe, Winfield, Ezra Van Dam, Victor Garza, Fraser Davidson, Colin Bennett, Trevor Resnick, and Jake Last. Thanks guys for donating to Beyond Synth. You know what, today I'm going to acknowledge all the people who have donated weird amounts. Because as you know, the Patreon has very specific amounts, and some people choose to input their own wackiness, like Bending Unit 22, it is 278. Is that an important number for you, Bending Unit 22? Katner with $1.08. 108, what does it mean? Replicant 81 with 101. Depeche Mode 101. Girls with Tails 123, I get that one. Zykorax 125, what does it mean? Tomasz Bubinicek 314, what does that mean? Common Sense 333, what does that mean? That's like half the donation of the beast. Chris Schmokel 420, I get it bro, 420. X-Riz Music 555, the old 555, not quite the devil but close. Ethan Hennings with 501, is there some sort of secret code? 567 from Blake Peterson, I get that one. Sequential numbers, of course the donation of the beast from Lucas Ceballos and Hellroy 666, I get that one. And of course, Jacob Wick with 1283. What does it mean? I have no idea, but I tell you what I do know. We're gonna listen to some fucking cool music. This is a track by Zalza, Z-A-L-Z-A. Or is it like Zalza? I don't know. This is a track called Play. And that was Play by Zalza or Zalza. One of those two. And that's a cool one. It's got a video game vibe. It takes me back to playing old games. That weird video gamey bass line in the background is cool. Anyways, guys, listen. I got nothing more to say to you right now. Let's now travel to Denmark and my conversation with Dynatron. All right, well, I am here with Dynatron.
Yes, hello.
How's it going, man?
It's going great.
So what were you watching?
you wouldn't want to know.
Because I know we had this thing scheduled, and I think you were watching some TV, and now I'm very curious. Do you have like family or kids or something? Were you watching like kid shows?
No, he's sleeping, but if my wife and I, we are just watching some just regular family stuff like baking contest. It's not. I'm not even kidding.
Is this like a one that's regional or like one of the American ones?
It's called the Big Bake Duel.
The Big Bake Duel?
Yeah, I'm translating on the run here.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. I mean, they have those here where you mean like where there's like 3 chefs and they get some ingredients and they have to make something?
Not exactly. Like they bake cakes.
Oh, okay, but like, is it a competition or are you just following? Yes. Like, okay, right.
So yeah, that's what I was doing.
Well, you got to get your inspiration for the music somehow, man. From the Big Bake Duel.
True, just watching telly and drinking some beer and just relaxing, you know?
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. How do you pronounce your name? Because I was going to say it, and then I looked at it, and I'm like, I don't know that I can say it.
Yeah, it's a very common question. My name is Jeppe.
Jeppe?
Exactly.
Jeppe?
Yeah, Jeppe.
So what's the origin of this name?
As far as I know, it originates from Jacob. I don't know exactly how it came to be Jeppe, but when you look it up, it originates from Jacob.
Okay. So where do you live?
Well, I actually just moved. I used to live in Copenhagen, and now I'm living in Hadsten, which is just a little outside Aarhus in Denmark, you know. It's very local.
There's all these words that I have no idea.
Well, you know the guy from Code Electro, and he's from Aarhus, so I live actually close to him.
Well, that's exciting. So you just moved?
Yeah, that's the big move, because we moved from one end of the country to another end, so like jobs and friends and network and family, everything is just like puzzled over.
Now you have to keep yourselves company with the Big Bake competition.
Yes. No, yet my studio is not set up, not yet. So I watch a lot of television.
So are you going to have a proper studio in your new place? Did you move to a bigger place, or were you guys just moving because of work stuff?
We moved to a bigger place. We bought a house.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Home ownership. You feel like a real adult now?
Sort of, yeah. Actually, getting a kid was more like, now you're an adult. Now you have responsibility for another life, and that really makes you feel like a grown up.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we've got 2 now, but
yeah.
I know that feeling. But now my son, he just plays video games all day. And that was one of those things where when he was young and I let him play games, because I thought, wouldn't it be cool? He can grow up and play games and stuff. And then it went a little too far. And now like he just loves like games. Like he'll be really good at them, and he's very good for his age. But
how old is he?
He's 6 now.
Okay. And
he plays a lot of PlayStation 4. And he pretty much, he hogs it. Like he plays it all day, and then I don't get to play, right? And I've got Skyrim Special Edition, and I want to be playing it all the time. And meanwhile, he's on the TV playing other stuff, and nothing I can do.
Just get him a secondary TV.
Yeah, but then I feel weird about that too.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Like our thing is set up in the sort of the main room, so it still feels like kind of a, that's the family room, I guess, So once you give like I'm thinking in terms of, once you give like a boy a TV in his own room,
you're never gonna see him in again.
Yeah. Then when we become teenagers, it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember how excited I was I didn't have a TV in my room when I was a kid, but I had this old Commodore monitor from the Commodore 64, and it worked, so I could plug a VCR in. So once, anyway, sorry, that story was about to go in a stupid place.
But the monitor wasn't.
Let me tell you about all the pornography I watched.
Whoa! Cool.
I don't know why. That's literally where that story was going, so we can cut it short. But anyways, dude, listen.
All right.
You are Dynatron.
True.
And
it is me.
Yeah, that's all I needed to know. And you make some wicked music that I'm a big fan of.
Thank you very much.
And we are going to listen to some, and we're going to talk about it, and that's what today is all about. So let's listen to a track, and then we'll talk more. So here was a cool track. This was from your album Escape Velocity, and this is a track called Propulsion Overdrive. And that was Propulsion Overdrive by Dynatron. And I'm here with Dynatron right now. I'm going to try and say your name. Epe. Like that.
That wasn't even close.
I forgot already, man. My memory is shit. Okay, say it for me again.
Okay, my name is Jeppe.
Jeppe.
Yes.
Jeppe.
That's right.
Jeppe.
That's
Hold on. So if I were to write that phonetically, Jeppe, like that. Jeppe.
It sounds like you pronounce it with Y.
Yeah.
That's not a Y. It's a J.
Yeah, but see, our J's are J.
J. That's true.
J. That's the English J's. J. So, Jeppe.
That's better. That's closer.
Now, do I have to hold the beginning sound for so long? Do people go like, yep?
No. Only for fun. Or if you're from outside Denmark.
Oh, is that a thing? I guess, are there regional accents?
Not in Denmark. In Denmark, it's always just Jeppe. But outside Denmark, no one knows how to pronounce the name. So it's kind of a weird name, actually. Okay. It's not common in Denmark, but everybody knows it because we have some known people in Denmark that's called Jeppe. So from history, we know people that's called Jeppe. So everybody knows the name Jeppe. So
I just like hearing it over and over again. It's awesome.
You know, I was in France skiing, and I was going to get some gear. I needed some GoPro gear, and I had to ask for it because we couldn't find it. And the guy had to take a note of my name, and seriously, he couldn't understand any of it. So it turned out to be Mr. Jipper. So I'm Mr. Jipper. Mr. Jipper. I'm Mr. Jipper. We made a song out of it just for fun because it was hilarious. This guy was just... He couldn't understand anything. And I told him like 10 times. And he was like, oh, Mr. Jipper.
That's the burden people have to bear when they have interesting names, right? You go through your whole life like that.
Yes.
Talk to me then about Dynatron here. So when did you start making the music?
The first track was from April 2012. I did that in a week, and then I posted it. I think that was Save the Moment. Then my second track, like Space Operators, actually pretty much shows what Dynatron is. Exactly at the point when it started, you know, it's the first track from my first album. And it was very much sounded like the rest of the album, in a way. So I think, not the first track, but the second track was pretty close to what I wanted to do at that point. I remember in autumn 2011, I was talking to Neros, you know, Neros77 from YouTube. He's a friend of mine.
Right, yeah.
And he showed me the music, and for a couple of months I was really listening to it. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And I wanted to do something because I've been composing music for a long time, and just it was very natural for me to go into that and just explore it and make some music. I bought the Laserhawk Visitors album, and I listened to that album a lot. Like really much. Yeah. It's not like my music sounds like that album, but there's a lot of influences from that album.
Well, that one is a good one. So when you said you were making music before, what kind of music were you making?
No, that was a death metal.
Okay. It's funny, there is this like I've found that is like a big pattern. Like there's a lot of people who you know, like come from bands and stuff, and there's especially well, like with blood music and stuff like that, you know, a lot of people who were like in, you know, like metal bands before, and then make this sort of transition to electronic music. But however, yours, it's funny because yours is more some guys that have like that metal influence, and I can hear it in the music. You know, where it's like very loud and thrashing and this and that, but yours is very sort of like cinematic. There's these nice melodies and stuff through it, so I wouldn't have immediately pegged you as a death metal guy, other than you're from Denmark.
Other than, do you know a lot of people playing death metal from Denmark?
Yeah. Well, it seems like that's like a thing, like from those like kind of Scandinavian sort of countries. That's where like a lot of death metal comes from.
Yeah, that's true. And Aqua.
Yeah, I think it's like that and Aqua. Well, you know, because there's something about the Nordic, you know, like the Viking style fucking metal music or whatever, and that's where it's sort of. I know very little about this, by the way. I'm pretending to know right now,
but it's true. You know, the Swedes they have music education very early in school, so for them it's very natural to pursue music in a very early age, and they're quite good at making music. There's a lot of Swedish bands that get exposed into the rest of the world very easily.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen. Let's go. We're gonna move forward through time here, through the Dynatron catalog. So then we're moving to the album Throttle Up, and this was a song that I really dug. This is called Rise to the Stars.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
And that was Rise to the Stars by Dynatron. And I'm here with Dynatron right now. And I just like to say Dynatron. I like when anything ends with that Tron thing because it sounds like Transformers to me. So it's just so fun to say Dynatron.
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 Dynatron. You should say it like Dan Terminus did. He said Dynatrov, famous Russian producer.
Yeah. Yeah, talk to me about this track because this one was cool. I love the melody in this song with like the synth kind of bell sound. I think that's what I like in your music, especially is you do come up with these really cool and catchy melodies. Like I always like the melody hook in your tunes.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the track. It's like if there's no theme or melody, there's no track. So I need to have every track I do. Is a certain theme or melody that is the core of the track, and that's the point. Because without a theme, there is no track. As you mentioned earlier, a lot of my stuff is very cinematic. When we talked about metal, and you can hear influences in other people's music, and it wasn't so clear in my music. It's because I listen a lot to soundtracks, and that's a kind of a different approach to making music. And there's always a theme in soundtracks, you know, like there's a main theme and there's a secondary theme or a tertiary, whatever it's called, theme. Yeah. I know the word in Danish. Tertiary.
I don't even tertiary. It's a word I don't think I never use it in English.
No,
I think it's tertiary. Hold on, it must be right. Let me. I'm gonna go to Google here. Define. Tertiary. Third in order of level.
Yeah.
So that's true. So that's third in order of level. In geology, it is of relating to or denoting the first period of the Cenozoic era between the Cretaceous and Quaternary periods and comprising the... Okay, these are all words I can't say. All right. So we learned a bit today.
Not cool. We're going into geography as well.
Yeah. So what were some like when you were growing up and listening to soundtracks? Then, like, what were some of the ones that you liked?
James Newton Howard, Elliot Goldenthal, James Horner, you know, and John Williams. There's a lot of good composers out there, and I think I always refer to Alien 2 and Alien 3. Also, Alien 3, just listen to that soundtrack. It's very, very dark. Elliot Goldenthal really did that very well.
Well, see, I'm one of like the few people in the world who actually likes Alien 3.
I like it too.
I think that movie just looks great. I mean, I saw it when I was a kid, so I didn't notice. Like, I understand as an adult if you were really liked Alien and Alien 2. How Alien 3 is kind of annoying from a story level because they killed off those characters right at the beginning of the movie.
Exactly.
And I understand why people don't like it, but since I saw it as a kid, I just accepted that was where the story went. And so as an adult, I still don't... It doesn't bug me in that same way. And I think that movie looks great, and it does have a cool score.
Yeah. The only problem about that movie is the special effects. That looks sucks.
Yeah, there's some bad ones. Yeah, when the alien's like running around and he's like... I can't even tell if it's like very early CGI or what it is, but it's not great.
I think it's very early CGI. It's from 93.
Yeah.
Probably made in 92. So, you know, like... What computer did you have in 92?
Yeah.
Imagine what it could do.
I think the computer I had in 92 didn't have color, so...
Oh, that's not true. It was probably the 486DX. Yeah, I did a lot of the computers when I was 11 years old.
When I was young, I used to always play Terminator. Like, that's what I would play in the schoolyard. When Terminator 2 came out, and I loved the T-1000, and part of me playing and pretending to be the T-1000 was making the sound like the music, like, you know, whenever the Terminator's on screen in Terminator 2, the T-1000, and it does that.
Oh, I love it.
And I would do that. Yeah, I would like hum that like when I played Terminator. So like that was part of me getting into character, right? So whenever the T-1000's on the scene, he's got to be the.
That's pretty cool. And actually, that reminds me a lot of what my son does. And every time that we drive backwards or walk backwards, he's like, deet, deet, deet. Yeah, I taught him that.
No, that's awesome.
It's kind of like the same thing. He's getting into character. Like right now, we are going backwards.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious what they pick up, especially with the shows and things. Like when my son watches certain TV shows, and it doesn't even seem like he's paying attention, and then like a month later, he'll just be saying dialogue and repeating things, and I'm like, "Where'd you hear that?" Like, just they pick up phrases and all sorts of stuff. Like it's really interesting. Well, how old's your son? Is he young still? Or?
Yeah, he's just a little above 2.
Oh, okay. So he's actually, just getting into. Yeah.
You know, you want your son to watch shows for boys and everything. He would rather watch Lego Friends, which is for girls. But you know why? It's because there's music.
Yeah.
They actually sing and dance, and that's even though you think, oh, it's for girls and there is horses and shit. But he watches this for the music, and that's really something that I accept that fully. There's no problem in that for me because he's into music and he's only 2.
Yeah.
So that warms my heart.
Yeah, we haven't been to. Like he watches what he watches on the kids network, and like he does gravitate towards the boy things. Like he gets all excited when there's like ninjas and guns and stuff like that. But he still, that's the funny thing, right? Because people, especially people who don't have kids, they like to talk about how, you know, like, oh, kids these days, you know, they're gonna grow up crazy because they have access to all this, you know, this stuff that we didn't have. And as I see my son grow up, I'm seeing that like kids are like exactly the same. They're the same. They just have access to cooler toys.
Yeah.
So because as he grows up, I see the way he plays with his friends, and it's exactly the same way that I played, except instead of an Atari on the TV, they get to play a PlayStation 4. But essentially they say the kind of the same things, and they do kind of the same things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And as far as like TV goes, he does watch a few shows that are like girl shows, I guess. But the ones he watches annoys me because I hate the theme song. Like there's this one that has there's this show, and it's called, what the hell is it called? Little Charmers, all right? Because it's about these little like magician girls. And it's got the most frustrating theme song. Like it just, and I'm the kind of guy that when a song annoys me, I like to torture myself with it. Oh. So like when there's like bad music on like when we used to have like music television, when they still played like music videos and stuff. And whenever there would be like some terrible song by like Gwen Stefani or something, it would annoy me so much that when it was on, I would have to watch it. Like I would just sit there and just watch like the remember that song Milkshake? Did you get that over there?
I think we did.
It was like, my milkshake brings all the boys to the... Anyway, anyway, every time...
It was like the worst.
Every time that thing's on, though, I have to watch it.
Shit, man.
Because it makes me so mad.
Even get angry. Just you humming it. It's like, I'm just gonna... I want to throw the computer out the window.
Yeah, no, I know. There's that. Oh my god. Listen.
Yes.
Well, we should play another song. You're speaking of terrible music. Let's listen to some fucking good music, all right? So here is another track I really dug from Throttle Up. And this was a track called Intergalactic Highway by Dynatron. And that was Intergalactic Highway by Dynatron. And I'm here with Dynatron right now. Yep.
Yes. Yep.
So I'm noticing a theme. I'm noticing a theme with all of your tracks.
Yeah.
Where there seems to be a sort of a space kind of theme.
Oh, really?
You seem to like space things.
That's true.
So what's that? Are you like do you have like a superficial thing? Or are you like a nerd for space? Or
That's actually a good question, because I think it has evolved when I was doing Dynatron. It wasn't really like how it is now. Mm-hmm. When I'm actually thinking a lot about other planets and stuff in space. I didn't do that much when I started Dynatron. I did the second track I did, Space Operators. I was like, oh, that's a cool theme. Let's do something about space. I can't remember if there was something going on, if NASA sent a shuttle off or something like that. I can't remember. But I chose to do something about space, and that it just made a lot of sense. And since then, I just kept doing that. And gradually, my interest for space just increased.
Oh, so it's sort of happening simultaneously then, like with the music and okay.
But also when I was a kid, I was watching the stars, and I was like watching, oh, that's cool, this star, this is stars, this is a planet. I can see the difference between a star and a planet.
Did you have a telescope?
No, I just knew. Because, when you watch Venus, it's in the sky. You can see it, it's very clear, and it's a very bright light. So this is not a star, that's a planet. It's obvious. When you look at it, if you go a little, if you have a small interest for it, when you look at just for the sky and look for it, you can see, oh, this is a planet, because it's much brighter than all the stars.
I noticed some of the song titles, like in your later ones, some of them have like more specific kind of sounding things. So are you like doing research for stuff, or are you like just being like in tune to what NASA's up to, or
both? I like to research and also be in tune with what's going on, because there's the Kepler missions. Actually, I was living on Kepler Street before we moved, and that was kind of fun, because like it made sense to do a space theme when I was living on a street named from a astrologist, and just continue to explore what's going on, and just like my last EP, the Regal Axiom, I really wanted to explore what could be out there, like if there were a planetary system that we were going to visit at some point.
Right.
What would it be, and where would it be, and how would it look like, and how all those kind of thoughts that you go into your head when you go into it. It's like I wanted to do that and just see what was plausible and what was not plausible, and just keep within what is realistic in a sort of way, because it's not realistic to go to another planet right now, but in time it will be, I guess. I think it will be. I don't know when. In 500 years, maybe.
They got to build a base on the moon, right? And then launch the rockets from the moon.
Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe from Mars. They're going to Mars in a few years. just think about that for a second. They're going to Mars.
Well, I just feel like that first Mars trip is going to be a shuttle with a whole bunch of dead astronauts. I mean, it's cool. Like, it's a cool enterprise. When they talk about just the way that the ships are built, and that the majority of the weight is just all the fuel, and it's like, if they can do a moon base or something, then they can sort of cut out some of the. It's like less gravity to break through or whatever if they like launch their things from the moon. But I'm also not. I feel like I'm trying to remember where I picked up this information, but they need a moon base. Damn it, that's the point.
We need a base on either planet. It's like playing games when we were kids. We're going, the game Dune 2000, perhaps Dune 2. It was all.
I don't think I never played Dune.
You never did. Okay.
No.
Weird.
You can tell me about it, though.
Well, it's what the fuck's called now? I can't remember them. I haven't played games in a few years now. But you have a base, and you're harvesting stuff, just like you're mining stuff. You're harvesting stuff that you earn your values from, and you can build stuff. And then there's an opponent, and you have to conquer the other opponent. But it's on other planets, foreign planets, foreign worlds.
Oh, Dune! It was like Warcraft, like the old Warcraft games.
Yeah. just in the future.
Yeah, you like mine resources and...
Exactly. And that's very early on. That's like, what, 92, 93, 94 perhaps? I don't know.
Here, let's see. It says, Dune 2000. Oh, wait, so was there an original Dune?
Yeah, there was a Dune, then there was Dune 2, and then Dune 2000.
All right, so let's see here. Because Dune 2000 was 98, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, you're right. 92 was the first Dune. Dune is a 1992 adventure strategy video game based upon Frank Herbert's science fiction novel of the same name.
Yes.
Which is Dune.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it was science fiction, and it was a very different place, time, whatever. But the whole science fiction stuff is just really appeals to me, and just imagining you being another world in a future far ahead. Maybe we have forgotten about Earth. Maybe we have moved on. Maybe we just colonized other planets to other solar systems and galaxies or whatever. It's just it's a cool thought.
Yeah, no, it is interesting.
Very.
Well, they should try and like colonize Antarctica or something. In preparation.
Aren't they already do that?
Well, I think there's like some bases there or something, but they gotta like send some people to Antarctica and just see if they can live for a few years before trying to shove them in a rocket. That's my advice to NASA. I
think being in a rocket and being on Antarctica is very different things.
Yeah, no, they are, but it's like you gotta, to prep them for the arduous. Fuck this. Anyways, listen. Let's listen to some. Let's listen to some more music. We're gonna move forward here to your album. Now I say Eternus, or is that how you say it? It
varies. I'm not really sure how it is. Eternus or Eternus. I can't remember if the
Eternus.
Yeah.
Eternus.
Whatever you think sound the most cool.
Eternus. Well, anyways, we're going to listen to a song from that album.
Cool.
I'm not going to make a decision here. So this was cool, and this was a more cinematic track and sort of an epic way to start the album. This is Hyperion Sunrise by Dynatron. And that was Hyperion Sunrise by Dynatron. That one's just kind of cinematic and cool, but it's what I love about listening to synthwave tracks, and especially these ones that are kind of like the more cinematic ones, is they're just so inspiring to me because they get my brain working, you know, with the coming up with like creative ideas and stuff. And it's cool because I find synthwave is very like visual for me.
Yeah.
Like when I listen to the music, my brain comes up with images.
That's the whole point, isn't it? At least to me it is. Music is not for dancing, music is for your brain.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I've never been to, like, I'm not really a dancing kind of dude.
No, me neither.
But there is something different, yeah, when I listen to music that's like just about the rhythm, that I get it, but that stuff is more about the energy, and it doesn't do anything to, you know, get my brain working on.
No, like the milkshake stuff. That's purely for dancing, just being on the dance floor in that very moment when you're fucking stupid because you're totally drunk. At that point, that song probably makes sense. But
oh dude, that's fucking, 'cause around that time there was all these, it was when Gwen Stefani had like, she was doing like solo music stuff, and that was like the Bananas song, and then remember there was like My Humps by Black Eyed Peas, and like all these this music that just made me so angry, and every time it comes on now, it still does. Like, it actually makes me mad, sort of, and it's weird. It's like a weird reaction, because like I must annoy my wife, because if we're like driving and the radio is on, I just can't keep quiet. Like, the second a shitty song starts, I just was just like, this song sucks. Like, I just hate this song so much. That's the kind of guy I am.
I feel you. I know exactly how you feel. Yeah. There's so much shitty music on the radio. You know, the national Danish radio channel called P3, that was supposed to be the most popular channel, and it probably still is. And I'm probably out of their target group. Whatever. It used to be good music, but now it just fucking sucks. It used to be rock. Now it's just like, My Humps, whatever shit is on the radio now. And there's so much shitty Danish music as well. There's no fucking rock. There's no good pop song anymore. It's just like aqua pop. Just worse. All the time.
I think that's a global thing that's happening. Like, because I mean that's even happened to some of our local stations too, where they were like a rock station, and then they sort of slowly become basically just like a top 40 pop kind of station. But it's just they still end up playing the same like 5 songs on a loop, and like I guess that's the trick, is just if you hear the song 80 times, then it just gets stuck in your head.
It just become 80 times as worse.
Yeah. So it's nice to know what's going on in Denmark as well.
I just never listened to P3 anymore. P3, yes.
When did you join up with Blood Music?
I wrote to Blood Music right after Athens was out, because I wanted the album for a vinyl release. But they immediately turned me down, because like the album is already out,
right? And
it is impossible for us to do anything about it, because doing vinyl release only, like vinyl only for a label, is just, it doesn't make any sense. It's money out of the pocket,
right?
So they rejected me, and but I sent my press kit, and they got the album, and we just like in the mails we just let's keep talking, because he wasn't interested in doing Athens on vinyl, but he was still interested in Dynatron, because he could hear that it was not bad music at all. So in spring 2016. We started talking even more, and I think it was in April that he wrote me an email just like, okay, let's talk more, and I was like, okay, cool, let's do so. I didn't expect him to send the contract just like that, but he actually did.
Oh, cool.
In a few mails, like, okay, let's make this work, and let's make a contract. I was like, yes, cool, of course, let's do this, because I was really happy being with Aphasia and all, but I wanted my releases to be physical as well, CDs and vinyls, especially vinyl, because the format is just so cool. It's like the huge cover and everything.
Yeah.
So there's so much possibilities doing the layout, and I really wanted that, and Aphasia didn't want to do that, so I had to do something about it, and it was not really cool to leave Aphasia behind, but I had to gain for Dynatron. So even though I still talk to the guys from Aphasia, and well, not everyone, because some just took it very badly. Like, like the same stuff happened when Perturbator signed, and there was some bad talk behind the scenes. People want to stay true and everything. It was just like black metal in the early 90s, when everybody talked about being true or not being true, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If you want to pursue your goals, and if you have a dream or a vision, you gotta make some sacrifices, and that was a sacrifice I had to make, to leave aphasia and step up my game.
You had to rise to the stars.
Yeah, that's true.
We're gonna listen to another track here from I'm gonna say Eternus.
Yes.
This might be like my favorite Dynatron track. I really like this track a lot. This is Escape. And that was Escape by Dynatron. And that song is awesome.
Thank you very much.
I love that track. I love the melody in that song. I've listened to it quite a bit. When I listen to an album, like I will pick my favorites and I'll just pull them out and I'll listen to them over and over again or whatever. And from Dynatron, it was this track, Escape. I just don't know what it is about that song, but that song fucking kicks some ass. So we should talk about it.
I think, thank you very much. I'm really happy that you picked this track, because actually, even though Escape is on one of the last of the album, it was actually the first track I wrote, because I had this idea in mind, just escaping from something. Like the whole point of escaping is interesting, because what are you escaping from? When I compose music, there's a lot of visuals in my head. Some are from Alien or Aliens, and actually a lot of the time when I was writing Escape, it was like this escape situation from like the first Alien movie.
Right.
That inspired me. I still wanted to make it my own in a way. So it's not 100% inspired from Alien, but it is.
Well, that's cool, man. I just I like it. I was trying to think if I had anything clever to say. Whenever I listen to people's tracks that I really like, I just sit here and I'm just like, and then I like that part where it goes, like that's all they want to. That's my review of the song.
Well, I like this part. Yeah, that's the bridge, man. That's the bridge.
Well, it's a good part. So you've got some cool label mates now, right? Because you're on Blood Music there. There's the old Perturbator and the Terminus and the Ghost and stuff.
Ghost? You know, for fun, I pronounce it like Gast.
That's what everybody does. I wonder if it's like a European pronunciation thing when you see G-O-S-T, because in English, when we see that, we say Gost as the joke. Like Gost.
Ah.
So maybe it's like, so the joke is we all mispronounce it. Is the bottom line.
Okay. I wonder why he picked the name. I should ask him, actually.
Well, maybe like, you know, sometimes when bands, you know, they come up with a unique spelling for a word, but then maybe he should put like a line over the O.
Oh, yeah.
So that people know it's pronounced O as ghost.
Yeah.
I was just watching today some dude who's doing YouTube videos where he like reviews synthwave albums.
Yeah.
And he called him Ghost, but like not as a joke. So I think some people do actually think it is Ghost.
Ghost.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So have you played any like you done any live shows?
Yeah, I did. I played 3. There was one in France at Lyon, the Synthzilla Festival.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Which is where I met Dan Terminus and Gast for the first time.
Yeah.
And then I was playing in Helsinki, also with Gast and Perturbator, and there was Tommy as well. And then I played in Budapest with Time Cup and Wave Shaper, and as I did in Lyon, also with Daniel from Denmark. He's a cool guy, actually.
So do you have like a little synthwave community in Denmark?
No. Well, you could. No, there isn't.
Like you're trying to think this. Maybe there is a way.
Yeah, I want there to be, but there is. Mm-hmm. We are so few that it wouldn't make sense to call it a community.
Right.
I know like 4 artists in Denmark, and one of them isn't really synthwave.
Right. I think though it is small everywhere. I mean, synthwave is just this weird community where it seems like there's a bunch of people, but then it's all like, well, there's 2 people in this city and 3 people in this one, and you know, like, if we were ever to do some sort of like international meetup, it would cost so much money because it would be like there'd be so many plane tickets, right? Because like I said this too. when I was talking to Droid Bishop, I said, you know, if I ever win the lottery, I'll have a synth gathering and then I'll pay everybody's fucking airfare. But that would be like that event would literally cost like fucking $200,000 or something, you know, just in plane tickets.
Very expensive, yes. Extremely expensive. I don't even want to imagine.
I mean, I know there's a few dudes in Toronto who are sort of putting on like a little synth thing that I could never attend because of fucking scheduling. I'm always tempted to try and do some sort of gathering, but it would end up being like, you know, when people have like a group and they just get together in a pub and like drink, because it would end up just being like, you know, like 6 people would show up and we just drink beer and talk about movies or something.
That's cool as well. That's a gathering, isn't it?
Yeah. Wonder what the actual dictionary definition of a gathering is. Like, how many people have to be there for it to be a gathering?
I don't know.
Earlier you mentioned your newer album, but you also pronounce that word differently, because when I see Rigel, I think it's the Rigel axiom.
That's probably the right way to pronounce it. I think I pronounce it the Danish way, like Rigel, like the Rigel axiom. And it's probably...
Is that how they say it, though, in like Danish? Like, that's how it sounds?
I have no idea, because I don't talk to anybody that says Rigel or Rigel. I think your pronunciation is the right one, because you're English, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think I'm just saying that because I heard that in like a science fiction show or something, you know, like we're on to Rigel 7. I feel like that's a Star Trek thing, even though I don't even really watch Star Trek, but I feel like Rigel 7 is
that's inspired from the same planet as well, so I think the Rigel is the correct way to pronounce it.
I'm looking at Wikipedia here, and they're not saying like I don't see the pronunciation thing.
No.
Because it's talking about what Rigel is, right? It says, also designated Beta Orionis, is generally the 7th brightest star in the night sky, and the brightest star in the constellation of Orion.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. Nomenclature. Beta Orionis is the star's... Okay, the traditional name Rigel is first recorded in the Alphonsine tables of 1252. It is derived from the Arabic name Rigel Zed Jazzy Ali. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so if it's Rigel or Regal, I don't know. Because it doesn't say it anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's originally from a Arabic name, so... Perfect.
Well, the bottom line is this: we're gonna listen to a song from it. I'll let my listeners be the judge. They can tell me the correct pronunciation. But
I'm sure somebody knows.
People are always very anxious to correct mistakes, so someone will do it. This is a track called Contact. And that was Contact by Dynatron. And I'm here with Dynatron right now. Yep.
Yes, that is me. That is true. That is me.
What is the Danish Santa Claus?
What? The Danish Santa Claus? Like the Danish name? Like the Danish translation?
Yeah, because I mean, I know Christmas was a while ago, but I've had like Swedish people on.
Okay.
And they talked about in Sweden, the Santa Claus is called Jultomten.
Oh, in Denmark it's called Julemanden.
Oh, so it's sort of okay. So it's kind of similar. So, Juleman.
Yeah, it's like the Christmas man.
Juleman.
Julemanden. Og her kommer Julemand in historie.
What does Juleman look like? Does he look like Santa, or does he have a different costume?
No, it's totally just like Santa.
Okay. Juleman.
Juleman.
I love all those languages, man. I love all that stuff. It's funny to me.
It's interesting to hear how people expect another language to sound like, or what it means, or whatever. And like, you're always surprised because it's never like you think it is.
Well, I think the interesting thing, speaking English has a lot of words, and like they keep just adding words to the dictionary.
Yeah, more words, man. We need more words.
But I noticed that too, because I was having this, like, my mom is French, and one day she was having an argument with me about saying that French had more words. And I think what she was trying to say was that French had more like flowery ways of describing things, like poetic ways of saying things and phrases. But I said, no, actually English has, I think, the most words of any language, because every time they invent a new thing, they just make a new word. But other languages, they take the words they have and they combine them.
What about Chinese?
That's a good question.
They have so many words. And the pronunciation is just like 4 different ways. Yeah,
that's a good point. I got to remember how the way that, what I read, the way that they structured the sentence. Like if it was a word, because with Chinese, they've got the different syllable sounds, but then they merge them to make different things. Or hold on, I got to fucking look that up again. Oh, today is a big... the Dynatron episode has turned into the fucking Wikipedia episode. But it's interesting to me because, like, so Santa Claus, for example, because just like in other people's languages, so in France, it's like Père Noël, which is Father Christmas or whatever.
Yes.
And so it's not just a name. It's like they've taken the word Christmas and Dad, and then this other language, you do Christmas man or fucking, Christmas elf or whatever. Like that's the wording. It's not a new word. Like Santa Claus means nothing else besides just that guy,
That guy.
Okay. Although I don't know why I'm still talking about Christmas. It's been months, man. It's gone. I don't know too much about Danish. Do you want to teach me some Danish swear words?
For fanden, altså. Det er kraftedeme løgn. Det pis gider jeg ikke høre på.
Whoa, okay, hold on. What was that one that had like the F sound in it? Fanden. What was that?
For fanden. Yeah, that's actually that's very close to the Swedish one, like fifanen.
Fifanen.
Nej, fifan.
Fifan. What does that mean?
Like,
fuck off.
Fanen. He is the devil. It's very difficult to translate. It's like something about the devil, like for his cause or something shit.
When do you say that? Like when you're mad at somebody, or when you're mad at something that happened, like a situation?
Yeah, well, if something happens and you're not happy about it, someone say something, or you're not happy that they do something like that, so you use it like, stop doing that for fanden.
Now, is that considered like a bad swear word?
Yes.
So like kids will get in trouble if they said that?
Probably.
What do you say if you like stub your toe? Like if you're walking and you bang your toe into the wall?
Oh, for Satan.
Is that another devil one?
Yeah, there's Satan. You know Satan? It's just plain Satan.
Do you know Satan? That's just an awesome sentence. Yeah, man, you know Satan.
No, what you say is "Au for fan," which is "ouch," and then for Satan. You're like "Au for fan." Listen to every goddamn interview that Lars Ulrich did. He says "Au for Satan" or something like that all the time. And he has this Danish accent, even though he has lived in the US for like 30, 40 years now, and he still has his Danish accent. It's very funny.
I'm gonna start saying that. That sounds awesome. Every time I fucking stub my toe. Ah, for Satan! Satan!
Au for Satan! No, if you hit your finger or you get burned or you cut yourself or something like that, you say "Au for Satan."
That's crazy though, because is that satisfying?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because you know the way like the English ones are, and they're very abrupt because they're very harsh letters, right? So like if I stub my toe and I go like "fuck," you know what I mean? There's like a "k" in there. It's very like it has roots in Germany probably.
I don't know.
You know,
I get the point. There's actually one in Danish that we use a lot, like "kraftedeme."
Yeah, there you go.
It has the K and the R, and just like
yeah, perfect.
And it it says "lad kraften æde mig," which translates to "let the cancer eat me." I could be wrong.
Oh, that is amazing. See, I love all this poetry. I love that there's sentences like in English, like I said before, because since we just have words for everything, there's never like, I mean, okay, I'm sure there are examples where there are, but for the most part, whenever there's these words, they don't mean anything other than like, okay, so you can say the word fuck and you can use it in different sentences to mean different things, but essentially it's just a bad word. Like that's its only function is here is a bad word and that's it. Maybe old people, you know, they'll have their weird phrases where it's like, man alive.
Man
they'll just say things like that when stuff. Yeah, but even hallelujah. Satan.
God damn
Let the cancer eat me. That's God, that's so cool.
But if you're religious, and my mother-in-law, she's religious, and she doesn't really like that I swear a lot, so I kind of hold it back because like kraftedeme, it's a very bad word, and it's in a way that it really let all this shit eat me. So it's let the bad forces eat me. It's like it's not very good because when you look at it in a religious way, it's like it's all the stuff that is about Satan that you talk about. Actually, it's like the Satan, the force of Satan and his realness. That's the force, like the cancer stuff.
Right.
So it's a very bad word to say kraftedeme.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's the same with the swear words, because in Canada, right, like we've got like the French part in Quebec, and that's where like the French speakers mostly live in. Canadian French swearing, a lot of the origins, it's the same. It's religious. It's like the things that they say all mean sort of religious things, and like those are the swear words.
I think a lot of the Danish swear words are just like that. They're religious in a way. Yeah.
It's interesting. One of these days, I'm gonna have to just do I'm going to do research into just the origin of all the swear words, because I find it's interesting, just the different things that become offensive in different cultures.
What would you call it? That's not Wikipedia. That's like the Swearpedia.
Yeah, swear. Well, maybe does that exist?
I don't know.
Swearpedia. Because what you just said sounds like it actually is a real thing. Swearpedia, and let me see if it's a real thing. Did you mean Sporepedia? Nope. Did you mean Sharepedia? Nope. Okay, we're done. Let's listen to another track by Dynatron. This was another track from the Rigel Axiom. This one was cool. This is a track called Storms. And that was Storms by Dynatron. And we are back with Dynatron, having a fun time talking about swearing. When you said before, at the beginning of our conversation there, you were going skiing and you were taking GoPro footage?
Yeah.
Is that something you do as a hobby?
Well, I go snowboarding for a hobby. And then I have borrowed a GoPro a few times to see if we can make something of it. And so far, it hasn't really been really successful. It's just been small clips. You see the clips that they present on their website. They look super cool and everything. And when you look at your own stuff, it just looks so ridiculous.
So you mean like you were putting a GoPro on your head?
Yeah. Or in my hand.
Do you got any funny like wipeout footage of you crashing?
Probably. There's several because I crash all the time. So
yeah.
And we drive a lot of free riding, so a lot of powder and stuff. So we tumble around a lot of times. Crash all the time, like snow in the face and everything.
So when you say we though, like do you have like a buddy that you go with to film snowboarding stuff or?
Yeah, I have a guy I've been snowboarding with since that must be 2011 or 12. I'm not actually sure.
What was it that made you get into snowboarding?
I think it was my brother. It's my older brother. He was snowboarding, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Let me try that." And so it was in the 90s, and snowboarding was it was growing. It was becoming very popular. So I wanted to try it out, and I never went back to go alpine skiing or whatever it calls. It's like I wanted to do snowboarding because that was cool. All the cool guys, they were snowboarding, so I wanted to snowboard.
And now, are you a cool guy?
I think so. I don't know. do you know if you're a cool guy yourself?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's more like a philosophical question at this point.
I'm a cool guy.
Well, man, if you... Well, I figure, if you got to snowboard, I mean, that's cool. I don't have a snowboard, so...
No?
No, I'd be fucking terrible. I would. That's the last thing I need to do.
I don't do jumps or tricks or anything like that. I ride in the power because that's fun. I don't do tricks. I can't do tricks.
Does Denmark get a lot of snow?
No, we go to Sweden or Norway or the Alps.
Oh, okay.
Denmark is very flat, so snowboarding is just like if you're Dane and you're snowboarding, you have to travel a lot.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, even here, because we have winter, so then when the snow doesn't come, like a lot of the mountains will like make fake snow.
Yeah.
Where they actually like have those big machines that like make snow to cover the mountain with or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, I guess.
But they make real snow.
Yeah, like it's real snow, but it's, a machine shot it out.
Yeah, true.
I don't even know how those work. Snow machines. I feel like they have like a giant ice block and there's like a big saw in the back.
No, you just vaporize water and just blow cold air. That's the whole magic stuff. Yep.
Now you spoiled the illusion. I thought there was like a little wizard. I thought there was a wizard inside. And they throw water at him, and then he like shoots a green laser beam, and it like bursts into snow.
Actually, you're not supposed to know, but that's the truth.
He's the Yuleman.
The Yuleman, but there's several of them. There's one in each cannon.
Yeah. Well, man, I think I don't know. I think we're good. Is there anything we didn't talk about?
I think there's a lot of things we didn't talk about.
Well, is there anything you wanted to say that I didn't?
Well, why don't you ask me what's going to happen next?
What is going to happen next? Actually, how about this? How about we listen to one more track by Dynatron?
Yeah.
And then when we come back, Dynatron is going to tell us what happens next. This track is from the Legacy Collection Volume 2, which is a cool one. Okay, just so to clarify, the Legacy Collection is because once you join Blood Music, this was a way of putting some of your older tracks onto like a new release. But did you make some new tracks for the Legacy Collection?
No, but there's actually one that was never released.
Is that Visions?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's the one we're going to listen to.
Cool.
Because that's the one I picked. I listened to them and I'm like, oh, this track's really cool. And I couldn't find the original release that it was from. So I figured that would be a good one to play. So this is Visions by Dynatron. And that was Visions by Dynatron. And I'm here with Dynatron right now, and I have been... A lot of times when people come on the show, they quickly realize that we don't end up talking about anything that maybe they were prepared to. You know, they think... I talk very little about music on this show, but let's now turn our attention to the future for Dynatron.
Yeah, so I just finished the EP. No, I didn't just finish it. It was finished some month ago, but it just came out, and it was a little different. When you look at it, when you compare it to Atonus, for example, it's more atmospheric, and this on Atonus, I used a lot of rock compositing. Like, you know, there's a chorus and there's a verse and there's a bridge. And on the XM EP, I didn't take that approach. There is some chorus or verses, but it's more like it's based on themes. So it's more, it has a lot more a soundtrack approach, a lot more atmospheric and ambient approach.
Right.
And people have been. It seems like people like it.
Yeah.
And it's a good contrast to the rest of the guys on Blood Music. So I thought about doing that more, like for the third album, to be more atmospheric and still have those rock tracks. You know, when I pull out the guitar and just shred it or something like that. You know, and then mix it with some more atmospheric tracks, because it really seems. And it makes sense to people,
right? And
that I can be more in my own spot, like picking my own place.
Right. Yeah. Well, definitely. Yeah. Compared to the even like the other artists on Blood Music, like you say, like there is a difference, but it's cool. Like, I mean, even with the Rigel Axiom, and I do notice that change, but there still is those cool melody hooks, and those are the things. Even like the track Contact I think that was my favorite one from that release, and that thing gets stuck in my head, you know, that
you know, that was it's super awesome to play live, because it's not that difficult to play, and I can fucking headbang as much as I want to. I was the one time I was headbanging so much I could feel the keys just touching my forehead. I was like, okay, this is a little bit too much, because in a second I will fucking slam my head into the keys.
Yeah. Off Satan!
Off Satan! Kraftedeme, mand. Så det kraftedeme nok. Nu stopper du kraftedeme.
I can't even do like an impression of that. I want to do like my fake Danish, but I can't do it.
I have no idea which language that was, but it sounded like a French dude trying to speak Danish.
Oh, that's amazing. That's exactly what was happening. That's cool. Well, cool, man. Listen, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, man. It's been very fun.
Yeah, and it was good to talk to you. I've always dug the Dynatron music. So
thank you very much.
Keep making it.
I will. I promise you that I will continue as long as I can.
And yeah, man. So you have a lovely Denmark evening. It must be late for you now. Well, it's not that late, is it?
It's like 10 p.m.
Yeah, okay.
It's not that bad. I can still grab a beer or two.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Maybe I'll do that too. It's 4 p.m. here, but that's okay.
That's perfectly fine for beer.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, listen. You have a lovely day, and it was good talking to you.
Thank you very much, and the same to you.
Yeah, man, and fucking make some more music, and then come back on the show sometime.
Of course I will.
And that was Dynatron. Makes wicked music, man. I enjoyed talking to that guy. That was a lot of fun. I was laughing as I edited that stupid part about Do you know Satan? It still makes me laugh. Anyways, I gotta go because it is 3 p.m. and this show is supposed to air in about 5 hours, which means I have to wrap this up. Thanks for listening to Beyond Synth, and tune in next time to the best synthwave chat show there is. And if you're feeling frisky, you can even tune in to Beyond Synth. Have a lovely weekend. Good luck.